Any suggestions for talented individuals looking to, join, collaborate, or use your services? So I think might be a good time.
So I don't know if everybody had kind of extracurricular classes back in high school, but one of my extracurricular activities was FBLA, and I had a class too that was called entrepreneurship, and we kind of had this tandem project between the program and the class where we had to come up with a complete business and then do a whole business plan for it, and that was all the way back in high school, and my business was a record label.
And that's so, like in your blood, so
I don't know where. I mean, my mom's a singer, my dad can hold a tune, so that's all cool. But I don't know where the whole record label thing came from all the way back then. But that's what I wanted to do, and so it made me research really, really early on, kind of the ins and outs of how record labels work and how record labels made money, because finances were a big part of the project. So all I like, that's all I know. Is just reading articles and thinking back on experiences and projects in school and now real life things that I've had to do. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started. It was that whole entrepreneurial spirit from those two things, and NCrwd is just kind of like the actual birthing of those seeds. It's the birthing of those lessons and those business plans that I did all the way back then. We started out as a music management company, and our primary client is none other than Mr. Corey James, amazing singer-songwriter, just an all-around great guy. And I met him in the studio, and the funny story is I was in the studio being a songwriter or trying to be a songwriter. Mm-hmm. And, one of my other friends told me about him, and he came through to the studio, and I'm playing my records, and everybody's like, oh, okay, these are cool, because they were just cool. They weren't like great. They was cool. But then, somebody else plays their stuff, and it's good, but it ain't like out of the ballpark great. But then Corey plays his stuff, and it's like everybody just wants to put their pens down. So I think at that very moment, I put my writing pen down and picked my executive pen up, because his writing was just so vivid and so amazing. So Corey James is the very first artist that we've ever had at NCrwd. He is, the foundation of NCrwd. Shout out to him, and you guys can check more of his information out, CoreyJames.com, and all across on your streaming platforms. But NCrwd it started as a music management company. Then we segued into business content. So right now we're working with a number of businesses to either launch products or rebrand their messaging or their company as a whole. I myself have started a whole new company along with a group of friends of mine called Foot Knowledge, and I think NCrwd is a really, 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 really big part of. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got braces. I keep trying to sound.
Gonna say anything.
I keep trying to sound educated, and
but you are.
These braces are stopping, my diction. I know if my mom's listening right now, she's like, I know you can pronounce those words, baby.
Take your time. Take your time.
Take your time. Open your mouth. The tip of the tongue. We go back. I'm sorry, y'all.
Way back. Let's go back.
But yeah, so we do a whole lot of different things, from photography to videography to physical marketing, coming up with strategy for that, like actually being out and about, guerrilla marketing. We've done a couple of guerrilla marketing projects that I think when you guys actually see when we post it on the website, you're gonna be kind of amazed by just the innovation and the ingenuity of the team. I'm not even gonna say myself. Like, I think the team is just a great group of people, from Corey to Josh, to Daryl, just an amazing group of people that are so creative and just take that creativity to a whole nother level. So the portfolio section is going to be lit on wearencrowd.com, and I can't wait for you guys to see that.
Ooh. So what they need to do if they want to be a part of anything?
Oh, well, definitely.
Is it even possible? That's possible.
I mean, it's an open thing. I think We Are NCrwd is more of like a movement or
working model type.
Yeah. It's not like, this is just us. It's like you can be NCrwd too.
I'm NCrwd. I know he's not saying me because it'll be redundant, but
very redundant.
Exactly.
extremely redundant. Danny, and I mean, even, you know, down to this podcast, you know, just the way that you did it, I think it takes some balls to kind of sit here and talk through your mess and talk through your ideas and really kind of give people your recollection on them, because people ain't nice these days. You know what I'm saying?
Not
like
nice, and we're not as woke as we think we are. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just like literally waking up to yourself and saying, damn, my room is dirty, yo. Like, just stop, take a half an hour or 2 hours on that Saturday, reset your whole, you know, game plan. And I think that's a big thing that I'm constantly doing, is trying to refocus, realign. And sometimes I'm like, man, that's all you're doing. But I think it gets you, like, you know, you're just furthering your focus.
Look,
and it changes, and you just have to hone in there. And, you know, because like I told you guys a long time ago, you can only spin so many plates at a time. Well,
yeah.
Do you have any fears? I've been asking that to my guests lately, but it's something I'm interested in. Fears.
I don't know. I do, definitely.
Well, you don't have to share all of them. You're scared of Chuck E. Cheese? No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. I'm just talking.
I think for me, fear is cool. I like fear. I think fear kind of keeps you grounded. I think fear keeps you humble. I think fear keeps you honest. But courage is the word that I think I grab onto on the other side of that. Because you can be afraid about a lot of things, but it's how you react to those things that you're afraid of. So the whole list of fears that I have, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, if there's a goal that's in front or on the other side of that fear, I gotta bust through somehow. I gotta juke, I gotta shake, or, you know, do whatever I gotta do to get around this fear so that I can get to the goal. So, I mean, no, my fear is, you know, like any entrepreneur, fear of failure. You know, it's a certain level of superficiality that I think comes with being an entrepreneur, that everybody that's an entrepreneur, I think, can agree with me and say it just ain't that way. Like, everybody's not rolling around, you know, making millions and millions and millions of dollars, you know, the moment they turn into an entrepreneur. It's years and years and years of struggle. It's years and years of budgeting. It's years and years of pretending like you got it, or if you're real with it, you know, not pretending like you got it, but stepping in the room like you have it. Like you actually have it. You just step in the room like yourself, come as you are. So
right.
That I think that any fear that I have that's, you know, inside of me, if there's a goal on the other side of it, I'm gonna just kind of rock my way around that thing and just, you know, try to make it work.
Ride the wave, like, you know, just kind of be faith in it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about faking it, but like faith it, because like I'm totally there right now, and I'm making some big changes, and people are just like, so what are you gonna be doing? And I'm like, I mean, it's gonna come. Like it's slowly coming. It's like a bear slowly trying to wake up from hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now that I think about it, it's crazy. I'm like, my mind is moving like light speed fast, but now I just envision it's like, okay, we're switching from winter to spring, and literally that bear is waking up. And so that bear, if you can think of it, is like all my dreams and things I've been trying to do, right? And so it's about to wake up, and it's about to be very hungry. And then I just thought of Black, you know what I'm saying? He had this whole big bear on his, and I'm sure he was a little scared of sitting by this bear, but this bear is probably more afraid of you than you should be afraid of the bear.
That's,
you know.
So I always thought that bear was just kind of photoshopped in there.
I listened to some of the stuff or read it, and that's a real bear. They got it.
Seriously?
They had to
wow!
bait
Shout out
the bear.
to Love Renaissance.
Yeah,
for that.
they had to like bait the bear in. The bear likes like candy and stuff like that. So, but that was cool. But I like how you touched on courage. And so that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you do have to have that courage to push and climb through or over, or go under and around stuff and dodge the hate that's gonna come at you. Just trying to like, it's like a fine line between like, are these things happening to make me uncomfortable, or for me to scurry back and go the other way? You know, like, is it trying to push me along or pull me back? And I think we have to decide, you know, what are we going to be attracted to at the end of the day? Because that's the direction you're going to go. So I totally like that. I wanted to know, how can potential feel positive and purposeful relationships be helpful?
I think that's a real easy question. Like, positive relationships are good because they're positive. They're going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're learning things, you're growing, and, you know, nobody's a douchebag. Or you might have a douchebag, but they have qualities that really offset that. So.
Or they're just a consistent douchebag, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, let me know what I'm dealing with.
I like people that are consistent. I can't say it enough. Like, that's not all who they are, but they have some douchebag tendencies, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's completely fine.
We need that sometimes. We need that person to be that person from time to time. There's always a place, you know what I mean?
But in terms of like, I think we're talking about like being able to find and nurture those type of relationships. There's a friend of mine who is the only friend like this that I've ever had in my entire life, that literally texts a certain group of people every single morning, good morning. Like, I don't know anybody else that does that, because even after a while, it'll be like, oh, I forgot, or, something will change. But literally, like, this particular friend, without fail, rain, sleet, snow, shine, whatever it is in it going on in their life, they're going to make sure that they send these good morning texts out, to the point to where when we don't get one, everybody's calling everybody else in the good morning group like, you heard from such and such, because we worried at this point. That's how consistent it is. Dedicated. Yeah. I think that the same way that that friend is dedicated to making sure that everybody's good from the very start of the morning, is the same way that we have to rush after looking for people to iron sharpens iron. We have to keep looking for people that are going to make us sharper and make us better and challenge us and teach us something new. And also, you have a big duty to make sure that you see somebody that you can impart those same things to. Because I think that that's another reason why we're seeing so much potential being realized now, not just as, a community and a culture with, African Americans, but just across the board, is because there's so much collaboration now. The internet made us so much tighter and so much more effective to a degree. So that we could,
whether you want it to be or not, totally.
For better or for worse, the internet is here and it's not going anywhere.
Seriously.
Free internet might be going somewhere, but not the internet as a whole.
Right.
But yeah, it's your duty to really go and make sure that you're exchanging these thoughts and these things with people that might not know as much as you, so that you give the next person a leg up. And that's for me probably the best part. That's probably the best part. Like when you see somebody come up and they're just killing it, and it's like, dang, you I don't remember this from you the last time I saw you. Like, that's a cool feeling, especially when it's somebody that you really support and you really love. So
right. Yeah, I can totally dig that. To insert something into what you said, I would have to also say to strive to be that person yourself. Like, you can't either impart or, I think, truly seek out something if you haven't at least identified where you're lacking in those areas, or you just aren't, those characteristics to begin with. Mm-hmm. So, like, because how can you start to share something with someone you don't have?
Right.
Like, I can't loan you the $50, Kim, I don't have it. So, but I can, I can do something to get there, though, to make sure that the next time you need it, though, I do have it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you find yourself constantly, I think, not to say even all the people in your circle, but if you, find yourself in a circle of either negative people or people that are stagnant or just not seemingly purposeful, I think it's your duty, like you said, to either impart that into the group, or for as long as you can, be more of it yourself, or find new groups,
or part ways.
Yeah,
impart it or part ways. You gotta LIG it, let it go. Let it burn.
Acronyms tonight. It's too much.
Pour the gas on the bridge and let it burn.
Light it up. So totally. I mean, I think it's essential that we find these kind of people, and I think it's essential that we keep those type of relationships going. But one word you kept saying tonight was ideas, and so I think it's also not in just people; it's also in ideas. Mm-hmm. And in seeing that, like, this is a good idea. And I think another thing that I've been shown is that you don't always have to be the one with the idea. Mm-hmm. And you can, you may have had like a vision, but it's like, okay, there's billions of people on the earth. You're not the only one who thought, you know what, we should gather all the plastics and like all the cans and like